完一餅帶啦，嗱我而家準備買飛入場啊 ！Vicky Cave 嘅 ticket 同埋 entrance 就喺呢度啦，唔知幾錢呢？入場費。哇 ！British No. 1， 好似幾靚咁喎！哇！又好似幾恐怖咁喎！ Additional paper maker. Magic mirror. Start your adventure here. 嗱，我啱啱咧買咗飛啊！哇，原來成7磅幾啊！7磅7.20 pen， 哇，好貴，總之就仲買一本街 book 添，都2磅幾啊！呢本街 book， 哇 ，Vicky Case 要快啲啦！佢話下一場嘅原來有個 tower 嘅，係喺11點開始。咁而家望下隻錶咧，已經10點50分啦。咁咧準備入場，希望唔好希望啦。 去到時知道有啲咩睇嘅啦。OK，see you。哇！入口啦到，行下已經。哇！唔使啊，着成咁樣入山咯。哇！依家入咗去啦，哇！好心寒啊，有啲心寒嘅感覺啊！哎呀，山窿裏面，哇！咁鬼黑嘅，哇！我諗我要啟動我嘅夜視功能先啦。大家開咗個夜視功能啊！ 先至勉強睇到，哇！睇唔到路添啊！
Okay, welcome to the cave. Has anyone been here before at all? 20 years ago. It hasn't changed too much. So very long ago for you, madam, was it?
5 years.
5 years? Okay, it's probably not changed. It's probably changed hardly at all. Really. Still the same rocks in here and stuff. You're actually standing in the oldest part of the cave now. These rocks around us are about 150 million years old. Now the chambers and the gaps in here actually formed about 1 million years ago or so, and are all formed by the underground river, which is called the River Axe, and that starts out as small streams on the hills above us, and those streams sort of force their way down through the rocks, dissolving it as they come down through, and they join onto the main river, which then washes the rock away, leaving us with the gaps in here. And the main rock is actually limestone. There's also sandstone and lots of other smaller minerals mixed in as well. Now behind me they've actually broken open the boulders just to give you some idea of this formation. You can see the pebbles in there, that's the limestone, and the sandstone holds it all together. And this is actually known by geologists as dolomitic conglomerate, which is a bit of a mouthful. So locals call it pudding stone, just slightly easier to remember, and you can see why they did. Now you can also see it's very dry in this area. We've actually had people living here in the past, like 2,000 years ago. There's a group of Celtics living here. They had a big farm in the valley outside. They grew their corn and wheat and pulses, etc. They used to have farm animals as well. And during the winter months, they actually brought their animals in here with them because it's so dry, because it's so warm. It's actually a constant 11 degrees centigrade throughout the caves, throughout the year. And because they brought in herds of goats to this area, it gives it its name. It's still known as the goat herd still to this day. Now after the Celts left, we only have one other person who lived here, and she was an old lady who lived here about 1,000 years ago. And roughly where you two are standing, somewhere down here, we actually found the bones in that area down there. It's nice to know. Now we also found a bronze dagger, and more importantly a crystal ball as well. And there was also 2 goats tied to a pole alongside her. They also belonged to actually died of starvation. There was a bit of a legend actually surrounds this lady. Many people at the time believed that she was a witch. If anything went wrong in the local village, they'd always blame her for it. If the crops failed or the cattle died, it was always her fault. And after a time they got very annoyed about this, and they arranged for a monk by the name of Father Bernard to come down from Glastonbury Abbey to exorcise her. And the legend says he actually came in here all alone with just a candle to guide him, And somewhere in this area, he met this old lady. And a huge argument started, and she actually tried to run away from him, sort of down the steps further on into the caves. But he apparently followed her down there, and with some holy water, he apparently turned her to stone down there. So I will take you down there. I'll show you the stalagmite where people still believed that to the late 1800s that she really was turned to stone. And I'll give you a good look around the caves then. Now, just to test your sense of humour, some people say you can still see the ghost of this witch somewhere up in this area. Especially on Tuesdays, apparently. Do keep looking, if I'm very lucky. And there she goes, look at that. We've got some kids to scare, but we as we do go down deeper into the cave, it does get quite slippery, as I say. There's plenty of handrails down there. I'll just bring the lights back up. I'll see if I can find your bat. Actually, he's been wanting to sleeping up there for a couple of weeks. I think he's still there. There he is, there. You can just see on the. You see right in the centre of the torch there. I'm not sure. It might be. I think it's probably a lesser horseshoe bat. It looks like a very big lesser horseshoe bat as opposed to a small great horseshoe bat.
That I don't mind.
Is that unusual just to get one on its top?
No, they always do that actually. You might see them in pairs. The lesser and greater horseshoe bats don't have any contact at all, apparently. I'll go a bit deeper into the cave now.
哎呀，原來呢個山窿住咗個女巫喺度，哇，好弊啊！其實你唔好見到個鏡頭咁光，其實呢度係好黑嘅，我只係睇中咗盞紅外線燈嘅，又係黑到仲之好黑啦。好線啊！哇，咁鬼大嘅呢度，突然間又好光喎。其實梗係光啦，裝咗咁多燈，唔光啊！
There's two ways of seeing it. The first way is these are profiles that we can now across the water. You see the face on the profile. Can you all see that? There is a second one. So, shall I talk to you a little? Some people see a face right in the very centre. And actually, the first way, you can see the nose in the very centre. You've got two eyes, just the first set.
哇，真係好似喎！
Black teeth and chin.
哎呀，好似一個人個面流血
Down here on
咁。
the floor, there's another freak stalagmite. This has become known as the witch's dog down there. And he's actually called Dougal.
He looks like it.
Down behind him, there's a speeding roller. Some people think that's something else, actually. So there we go. Right, I'll bring the lights back. Yeah, we'll talk about something. Over here is the largest stalagmite, okay? It's called stalagmites grow up from the ground, the stalactites come out from the ceiling. And this stalagmite's called a giant. It's about 100,000 years old. It's 9 feet tall and still growing, we estimate. It's taken over 9,000 years at that point there to reach the ceiling. It's formed by a drip of water that falls away from the tiny stalactite above it. There's a mineral called calcite in the water, which is just dissolved limestone. As that falls down, goes through a chemical chain. Turns back into rock down there. It's exactly the same process you see at the bottom of your kettle with the limestone. It's just speeded up because of the hot water in there. The reason why the stalactite above doesn't grow more is because the water's dripping a bit too fast. Hasn't got time to deposit its calcite. Just to the right of the giant, you can see a smaller stalagmite there in the pool of water, and that was known as St. Michael's Lake, named after the small island on the corner. So this one's known as the Beehive. There was a small boy said to me a few weeks ago, he thought it was Jabba the Hutt from Star Wars. And on the ceiling there's a cluster of tiny stalactites here. And these are known as straw stalactites, named after drinking straws, because they are in fact completely hollow. You can very easily just snap those straight up. This formation is known as flowstone, which is formed in the same way. It's just that the water's been flowing down the wall of the chamber. Now, back down to the river, you can come a little bit further down if you like that. Think about a view of the river.
Wow, awesome. Awesome.
This is the river axe,